Is the Philadelphia Eagles front office falling apart right before our eyes? Or is Howie Roseman playing a game of 4D chess that we can't even comprehend yet? Just when you thought the roster was set and the vibes were at an all-time high after the draft, a massive internal shakeup has sent shockwaves through the NovaCare Complex. We are talking about a total exodus of the brains behind the operation, and it starts with a man who has been a pillar of this franchise for nearly 2 decades. This isn't just a minor staff change. This is a potential disaster for the team's long-term strategy. Before we dive into this front office chaos and grade the new crop of undrafted talent, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. The news hitting the wire today is absolutely insane. Alec Halaby, the Eagles' assistant general manager and one of the most respected analytical minds in the league, is officially walking away. This isn't a case of a guy getting fired or being forced out. No, this was Halaby's call. After 17 years of grinding in the Eagles' front office, he is leaving the world of professional football entirely to pursue a career in finance. Think about that for a second. This man survived multiple coaching changes, front office power struggles, and the constant pressure of the Philly media. He was a foundational piece of the 2017 Super Bowl win and played a massive role in the 2024 championship run. For a guy who was essentially Howie Roseman's right-hand man to just walk away and head to Wall Street, it feels like a betrayal of the momentum this team has built. But Halaby isn't the only loss. The Eagles are bleeding talent in the executive suite. Bryce Johnston, who served as a senior VP and was the wizard behind the team's salary cap,
by Deontay Smith.
It really dictates the defense.
On top of that, scout Ben Eelana is also heading for the exit. Is the Howie Roseman tree being harvested, or are these guys just tired of the relentless grind in Philadelphia? Drop a name in the comments. Who do you think is the biggest loss for this front office? Howie Roseman released a statement today that sounded supportive, calling Halaby a close friend and a huge part of the team's success. But you have to wonder what's happening behind closed doors. Halaby had interviewed for GM jobs with the Dolphins and the Giants in recent years. He didn't get those spots. Did he realize he was never going to be the main guy as long as Howie was in charge? It's well known that the Eagles' draft room is run like a scene out of The Wolf of Wall Street. Howie owns the room. He makes the calls. He's the alpha. For a guy like Halaby, who started as an intern in 2009 and climbed every single rung of the ladder, maybe he hit a glass ceiling that only a career change could shatter. But don't go anywhere, because while the front office is shrinking, the roster just got a lot more interesting with some wild, undrafted signings that might actually be better than the guys who got drafted. If there is one thing we know about the Eagles, it's that they love to gamble on freak athletes from across the globe. We saw it with Jordan Mailata, and now they're trying to strike lightning twice. Enter Joshua Wiru. This is a signing that earns a massive A grade for pure guts and potential. Wiru is an edge rusher prospect coming all the way from Kenya. We're talking about a guy who is 6 feet 4 inches and 244 pounds of raw, unbridled power. At the HBCU showcase, his testing numbers were nothing short of legendary. He posted a 41, 5-inch vertical leap and a broad jump that cleared 11 feet. His 40-yard dash was a blazing 4.45 seconds. The catch. He has never played a game in pads. This is a developmental masterclass in the making. The Eagles aren't asking him to start on Sunday. They are betting that their coaching staff can turn this Kenyan track star into a quarterback's worst nightmare. His relative athletic score was an 8.67, which is elite for his size. If he can learn the technique, the league is in serious trouble. But wait until you see who they brought in to fix the special teams disaster from last season. You can't win games if your special teams are a mess, and the Eagles recognized they had a hole at the long snapper position. They went out and grabbed Rocco Underwood out of Florida. Underwood is a massive human for a long snapper at 6 feet 3 inches and 231 pounds. He played 50 games for the Gators, meaning he's seen the loudest, most high-pressure environments in college football. The Eagles have had some instability at this spot lately, which has messed with Jake Elliott's rhythm at times. This is a solid B-grade move. It's not flashy, but it's a veteran-style signing for a rookie that secures a vital part of the kicking game. However, the real steal of the undrafted period might be Deontay Lawson. How this man didn't get drafted is a total mystery. We are giving this an A grade. Lawson was a 2-year captain at Alabama. Think about the level of talent he was leading. He was a former 5-star recruit who lived and breathed SEC football. He led the Crimson Tide in tackles with 89 and started 41 games in his career. He has an incredible nose for the ball and instincts that you just can't teach. The only knock on him is his size. At 6 feet 3 inches, 224 pounds, he's a bit lean for an NFL linebacker, and he struggled with some injuries in Tuscaloosa. But if he stays healthy, he isn't just a practice squad body. He's a guy who could realistically push for a roster spot and contribute on day one. But the Alabama connection doesn't stop there. Howie went back to the well for a massive body on the offensive line. Jaden Roberts is a name you need to remember. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing 345 pounds, he is a literal mountain of a man. He played 37 games at Alabama and only gave up 1 single sack last year. In a season where the Tide's offensive line struggled at times, Roberts was the one constant. We're giving this a B grade. The Eagles have a history of taking undrafted linemen and turning them into Pro Bowlers. With Jeff Stoutland coaching him up, Roberts has the frame and the pedigree to become a reliable backup or even a future starter. Then there's the tight end position. Everyone thought Daquin, right from Ole Miss, was a lock to be a mid-round pick. When his name wasn't called, the Eagles pounced. Wright is 23 years old, 6 feet 4 inches, and 246 pounds. Last year at Ole Miss, he averaged over 16 yards per catch. He's a vertical threat who can stretch the seam, which is exactly what this offense needs behind Dallas Goedert. He's got some work to do on his blocking, and his route running is a bit raw, but his ceiling is significantly higher than guys like Grant Calcaterra. This is an A-grade signing all day. But what about the secondary? The Eagles signed 3 different safeties, and one of them is coming in with a massive chip on his shoulder. The Eagles' safety room has been a bit thin, so they brought in a trio of players to compete. First, there's Tucker Large from Washington State. He's a smaller guy at 5 feet 10 inches, and while he had 71 tackles last year, the jump from South Dakota State to the Pac, 12 to the NFL, might be too much. We're giving this a C grade. He's a long shot to even make the practice squad. Then there is Maximus Pulley out of Wofford. Don't let the small school fool you. This kid has ball skills. He had 5 interceptions and 10 pass breakups last year. That kind of production is hard to ignore, regardless of the competition level. He's a bit of a wild card, but the ball-hawking ability gives him a puncher's chance. Finally, there's Kapena Gushikin from Ole Mississippi. This kid is a gamer. He played at Washington State before transferring to the SEC and didn't miss a beat. He's physical, he forces fumbles, and he's played against the best wide receivers in the country. We're giving this a B grade. He provides immediate depth and could be a special teams demon. The front office is changing, the roster is shifting, and the pressure is at an all-time high. Howie Roseman has lost his top lieutenants, but he's replaced them with a crop of undrafted free agents that look hungry. Is this the start of a new era in Philly, or the beginning of the end for the Roseman dynasty? One thing is for sure. The 2026 season is going to be a wild ride. Go Birds!